Greetings, everyone. It's Sue Coulson here from the Cosmic Classroom in Avebury, and I just thought I would hop online and talk to you all today. There's been some really significant shifts in the vibrations that have been coming in through the Avebury Stone Circle in the last week, even in the last few days, and definitely today. And I just wanted to check in with you all and see how you're all doing and try and add a little bit of verbiage, a little bit of words, hopefully to help us all, and myself included, to understand quite what is flowing in and what it might mean for us. So greetings to those of you that have joined me already. Nice to see you. I know some people will watch the replay of this, so hello to you guys too if you're going to watch this later. If you're here live, then do send me a little comment and I'll do my best to say hello to you. I made a video about a week ago that really spoke about the vibrations that had come in at the time when Venus was in alignment with Neptune, and the moon was there as well. And that was all happening. I'm going to have to refer to my notes today, my darlings. I'm really sorry. I've got some notes up here. That was on the 27th of April, right before we got to that new moon and the solar eclipse, which was on the 30th. And boy, that brought in some very high vibration energy that has really taken me very much into that dreamy state, because all of those planets are piled up in the Pisces energies at the moment, really elevating our awareness of the interconnectivity between ourselves and everything in the unseen realms. I'm finding so many things have been coming through in my dream time that it's taken me several hours of the day just to integrate and upgrade the vibrational shifts that are presenting around me, that I'm awareness through my dreams, into the physical body. And the words that have come as guidance have been about keeping in the flow, like an acknowledgement that even though we have got some of the bigger planets, we've got Uranus and the Sun in Taurus at the moment, which are very earthbound, creating shifts and changes. I feel like they're shifting and changing on that physical realm in the Taurus energies, but from that knowing of our fully expanded sense of self. Like there's a new process of integration going on to bring us our bodies and our physical structures in alignment with everything that the cosmic influences are opening up for us as a possibility. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I'll just say hi to Tom. Hi, my love. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining me again. So we've got a conjunction coming into direct focus tomorrow with the Sun and Uranus in Taurus. And that energy is always going to bring us awareness of where we want to push our boundaries. Like it's the rebellious energy, it's the impulse to change things, to shake things up, to move things forwards. And I feel that there's some of that going on within me, and my consciousness is doing its best to catch up with what that might mean for me, rather than it being driven from a conscious place. It feels like it's just bubbling up from the dream realms, from that dreamy energy. That's all in the Pisces stars at the moment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of how the Pleiadian energies are going to be influencing us as well at this time, and the importance that those beautiful beings have had on me through my own journey in the last 15 years, I think, probably. They've been around me in a conscious way. So for the solar eclipse that we had at the new moon on the 30th of April, we found that Mercury was in alignment with the Pleiades stars. And Mercury is the planet which is the messenger and opens that gateway to communication with all the different layers of the energetic beings that are available for us to connect with when we do tune in to the Pleiades stars. For me personally, the first ones that I ever met were what I call higher dimensional beings of light. They show up for me at that time outside here in the stone circle at Avebury. For those of you that might not know, but my cosmic classroom is literally right inside the Avebury stone circle, and I can see the stones out of my window. Unfortunately, I've never found a way to effectively capture that on camera because it always distorts everything when I try to take views over my shoulder out the window. It looks a bit weird. But anyway, trust me, they are there. And going back to 2007, when I really started my conscious journey of awakening to the energies here in Avebury, I was very, very blessed to have the opportunity to walk around this stone circle almost every day of that year. And on that journey around, I used to try to come in the evening time. I find the energies among the stones at Avebury offer something so much more in that twilight time. And so I used to time my visits to be in that window of opportunity, because you can see and feel the energies so much stronger within the self and how that energy interacts with the stones here. I was always guided to one specific stone, and I just used to rest my back against it. And back in those days, I used to see, with my eyes closed, the vision of coloured shapes were like a pinky purple colour that they move. They kind of look a bit like a swimming jellyfish, or they look a bit like a lava lamp. And those beings told me eventually, it's a bit of a long story about how I found that out, but basically I found out that they were light beings, that these orbs, these moving shapes that I saw were actually conscious entities, and they told me that they had a connection with the Pleiades stars. And so that initial introduction was very much amplified when I started my own healing practice after I'd done my crystal healing training in Glastonbury. And during that time of my training, I used to see those beings quite often. I still wasn't aware of what they were in that moment and thought maybe I was doing something wrong. I thought that, when you're in a meditation, you're being guided into sort of visualizations, a bit like a dream, like to see specific, almost like real life scenarios. And yeah, I would always see these orbs, these moving shapes. And it really was the introduction of crystal skulls into my life that helped to bring the clarity of who and what these beings were. Through a series of interactions with other people and with the crystal skulls, I was able to receive channeled messages that confirmed that they were energetic beings and that they were actually here and had been around me a long time to support my work, my healing practices, and to bring me insights and understanding from those higher dimensional realms, from the Pleiades stars. And I've learned so much from these beings over the years. Really, they are my master teachers, if you like. They speak so clearly to my heart that I find it very easy to channel their information, because they always speak about the heart. They always speak about love, the vibration that we call love, that connects us through the interdimensional realms to other places and spaces. They talk to me about how we can utilize the light technology that we hold within us to understand more deeply our creative powers and those forms of consciousness that help us to connect and communicate with other higher dimensional beings. And so it's been a journey of an evolving thing with them through all of that time. And this time of year, if we come into May, it always brings a special time into focus because we have the sun makes its annual transit through the Pleiades stars, usually around the 20th and the 21st of May. That's exactly the timing this year. So the sun makes its first transit into the Pleiades. Not sure if I've written this down. You have at 7:30 p.m. on the 20th, and is there all the rest of that day and into the 21st. And so I'm going to use that opportunity of that window and corridor of communication when the sun is in alignment with those Pleiades stars. It always amplifies our availability to work with those beings in a conscious way. And so there's going to be 2 events this year. And the second one, I'll talk about that one first, because that is to connect with these higher dimensional beings of light, to receive a transmission from Alcyon, from the beings of Alcyon, and also to receive those starlight codes that come in from Alcyon. That is the brightest star in the Pleiades star cluster. Many of you will know the Pleiades through their name, the Seven Sisters. So there are actually 9 bright stars that have names from our point of view. There's Atlas and Pleione, which are mother and father to the 7 sisters and the king and the queen. And those stars are just the brightest of over 1,000 stars. They're all young blue stars, and they offer us as a collective a much higher vibration than some of the energetic beings and some of the physical beings that reside in what I call the 5th dimensional realms, that are able to communicate with us as well. And so there are beings that do present to me in a physical shape, in a physical form, that are also associated with the Pleiades. And I know if you look online, you'll find many different references to different types of beings. I try not to look too much. I try to just to keep my mind clear of what I'm actually receiving. But there is a race of beings that I call the High Elven beings, that really come in with such a level of serenity and such a level of balanced persona, such a level of compassion and love, that those beings also really bring forward so much more knowing about the same sort of subject, but from a different perspective, to offer us support here on our planet. They tell me that there was a time when they walked freely among us, back in different eras of our history here on our planet. But for now, they come in, and a telepathic communication, if you like. They come in to bring their conscious awareness through channeled messages and through the insights that come. Some of them are very physical feeling. They often bring me energetic attunements, things to adjust my body, and they come from those beings as well. So that event is going to be timed for when the sun first moves into an alignment with a star called Electra, which is the first star, the first point that the sun will reach on its journey through the Pleiades stars, because I see these high elven beings being closely associated with that star, with Electra. And so there's going to be an event online with limited places to connect with the high elven ones, where we are going to utilize the crystal skull carvings that are in the shape of the high elven beings that have been lovingly carved and beautifully formed from the hen shop in Avebury. I'm very, very blessed to have several of these beautiful carvings in my collection, and I've got a couple here just to show you in case you don't know what I'm talking about. This one is one of them. Bless her. And she's made of African Amazonite. I have another one here that's made of clear quartz, and participated very much in the adventures that we did last May with the Elven in May. We did some amazing work with them last year. And then I have another one here who I've been using this last week, if you've seen my posts, to represent the White Queen of the Elven, because she's been very present with me in the last few days, last week or so. Anyway, let me backtrack slightly. So those two events are there to be timed with the solar alignment with the Pleiades stars. And if we back up to what happened with this eclipse that was on the 30th of April, we found Mercury in alignment with the Pleiades stars. Now, Mercury is going to contribute greatly to a weaving of energy that's going on at this time as it's moving into its station position, and it's going to go retrograde on the 10th of May. And so there are going to be two other times that Mercury is going to come into alignment with the Pleiades stars. And one of them is at exactly the same time that the Sun is in alignment with the Pleiades stars on the 21st of May. So that feels hugely significant to me. The energies that we brought through with the eclipse are going retrograde. They're given an opportunity to reflect on, to rebalance, to integrate, to sort of really look at our reactions to that energy that came in whilst Mercury goes backwards. And it will come into that alignment, as I said, on the 21st of May. So there's going to be a double alignment, if you like. There's going to be the Pleiades stars, the Sun, Mercury, and the channel to Earth. So I'm super, super excited for that transmission that's going to come through from Alcyon this year, because that corridor of communication is so clearly aligned for us to receive something really special. Now, we did tune in through the event that I did at the Solar Eclipse. First of all, we brought some vibrations in through Venus because of the Venus and Jupiter conjunction. But then we focused our awareness on bringing in like the foundation layer that is coming in through the Pleiades stars. And yeah, I'm still struggling to find the words, really, honestly, that can convey that energy. It was so delicate and so refined. It came in through such a sense of stillness and peace, with everything in harmony for the eclipse. It was like the eclipse energies and really opened the space. The Venus energies brought in that layer of love that is required, that self-love that's required to open our hearts to receive it. And then what the Pleiades beings brought us was, I mean, just beyond blissful. I mean, such a high refined vibration that really I feel that they are the foundational codes that are setting that platform for a whole new way of being to be woven into being through this eclipse window. So the eclipse that started with this new moon on the 30th of April is going to grow along with all of this other transitional energy that I just spoke about, with Mercury going retrograde and many other things that are moving around as well. That when we get to the full moon, which is on the 16th of May, we have a full total solar eclipse here in the UK and over Northern Europe. I believe you'll be able to see it definitely on the east coast of the States and Canada. I'm not sure whether the duration of it will allow you to see it on the west coast. I will look, or I'll put a link somewhere for you so you can look for yourself. But it's going to be a significant eclipse here in the UK. We'll see the actual max of the eclipse, but then low on the horizon, so we don't get to see the actual full closure of the eclipse, but we will get to see the max here in the UK. I'm going to be holding space to receive the energies through that portal as well. I'm going to be offering an online event after this moon has set here in Avebury. So I'm going to be doing my own personal work here among the stones for the actual moment of the max, but then I'm going to come in as fast as I can whilst the shadow's still in play for us to be together to bring in the starlight codes that are coming through the eclipse window again. So there's a lot going on. So this lunar cycle is also obviously still in play when we get to that next point of Mercury and the Sun being in alignment with the Pleiades stars. So it's kind of, we're building layers, is the way I'm seeing it, of all these new starlight codes coming in to weave a new foundation for us to have a platform to bounce into this next level of consciousness. So the journey continues because we come to the next new moon, which will be on the 30th of May, and that will close out this eclipse season. There will be an event for that as well. But then we've still got the retrograde motion going on with Mercury. So Mercury will be back in alignment with the Pleiades stars on the 14th of June, which is also the same day as another full moon. So it's very tied up with the lunar cycles at the moment. And I'm really excited for the possibilities of what is going to come through these portals, these energy pathways that allow us to delve more deeply into receiving those communications with the Pleiadian beings. There are other things to unfold as well, because when we get to the 22nd of June, which is just the day after, not even a whole day, just a few hours after the summer solstice, we find Venus in alignment with the Pleiades stars. So the codes that she's been carrying through this important cycle, because she's going to be moving from her conjunction with Neptune. She's had a conjunction with Jupiter. She's moving on. She's going to have a conjunction with the Sun and also with Uranus this year, and she's going to be in alignment with the Pleiades stars, as I said, bringing all these codes forwards on the 22nd of June. So there's also going to be another opportunity to connect with the Pleiadian beings on that day as well. So I'm planning on, as you can see, following and tracking the energies that come in through those cosmic corridors here in Avebury through the stone circle, and hopefully relaying back to you guys what that might mean for us. But also, I really want you guys to have the opportunity to connect with all of this energy for yourselves. Really, that's the whole ethos for me behind what the classroom is about. It's about people really experiencing things for themselves to be a supporting environment for people to open their hearts in a safe place and have these kinds of experiences of receiving the starlight codes, the vibrations that are coming in through Avebury, through the stones, through this classroom, through what I can offer you here, so that it becomes an authentic and real experience for you rather than just listening to what I've got to say about my own experiences. Really, I'd love for you to join me so that you can experience it yourself. And of course, whenever we come together in a group and we hold a collective heart space, which can be here physically or it can be online, I found that the online connections that we make open a really powerful interconnectivity between us all. Sorry, I keep bashing my microphone. It really does make amplified energy for everybody that's participating, myself included, but it also brings us a much clearer channel, a much wider pathway, if you like, to be able to bring that energy clearly into the collective heart space of our kind on the planet. Also, we always bring it into the heart of Gaia, so that we're continually consciously upgrading the vibrations that she's holding in her heart and expressing through her into the rest of the planetary structures to support not just humankind, but to support all of the development of the natural world, all of the plants and the animals and the birds, and just all of the interconnectivity just seems to be being amplified through that work at this time. Often our work, especially with the Elven ones, has been about planetary work, and sometimes we're asked to do specific missions where I'm guided to take us, our group, on a journey to do either clearing in specific parts of the world or more general energy invitations in specific places to make a contribution and a shift to the vibrations that are able to flow through the planet, through those sacred sites, through active stargates that really open those interdimensional communication portals between our planet, the solar system, through our galaxy and beyond to the stars. So a lot of that has happened in recent years. It's an amplified time to work through the eclipse window. So the fact that the Pleiadian energy solar transit thing is right in the middle of the eclipse window this year feels super important to me. In 2020, we were working with the eclipse season. There were several events timed around the eclipse, and we had a full solar eclipse actually on summer solstice in that year. But it was the Pleiades energies that kicked that off, if I remember correctly. And what happened over a 2-month period, because we had 3 eclipses that year, 2 partial lunars and a solar eclipse in the center. During that time frame, we were witness and contributing consciously in the work that we were doing through the cosmic classroom in actually helping to upgrade the interconnectivity, not just of our planet, but of our whole solar system, taking it from what they showed me as being like an old telephone exchange, where you'd literally have to phone up the operator, and the operator would plug cables from one to another location so that you could make that connection into other dimensions and places, other aspects of the unseen realms. Those connections were possible, but we upgraded that system from being that old clunky, needed an operator to do it, into what they showed me of like a fully automated, like digital exchange. And then over the eclipse season in the winter of 2020, that we were doing another process to upgrade the actual interconnectivity. So if you like the cables that were connecting the different relay stations together, they showed me that went from being like old copper wires into like super fast fiber. That was their analogy for me. So that interconnectivity, it was so much more available and much smoother. Now you will remember that winter, at winter solstice, we had that big Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, and we were talking about the paradigm shift. Well, that was all tied up with that eclipse season and that work being done to upgrade the interconnectivity that was available to us all. And then last year in 2021, we also had 2 eclipse seasons, one again focused around summer solstice and another one quite close to winter solstice. The summer solstice one really saw us do an upgrade to what I'm calling our mental faculties. We were given like a new operating system that gave us more access into the understanding of what all this infrastructure would mean to us. We were preparing ourselves so that we could be more consciously aware of those interconnections. And then at winter solstice, we had a full moon the day before winter solstice that was directly in alignment with the galactic center. And so that was an activation for our galactic chakra to bring that point that's above us more integrated into our system. So it was like we got plugged in. Like, that new structure is there, it's available to us much more openly, it's much faster connections, and we're now fully ready to be plugged into that system and to be utilizing it. Now, that's a big responsibility, and that is a lot to do with, in my point of view, to the energetic shifts that we've all been feeling this year so far, because for me, there's no coincidence of where the planets are all lined up. We've had all the big outer planets and the inner planets are made a transit through the Pleiades stars, which are all about that understanding of the infrastructure in the interdimensional places and spaces. That's still ongoing, and we're being very much reminded by the beings that are supporting me, my guides from the high dimensional realms, that we really need to take time to integrate what that means for us, to adjust to what this means for us. And we do that by the work that's going on at the moment is about re-evaluating the self. Like, how do we perceive ourselves? Because it's not easy for us to find the boundaries between what is us and what is we're sensing from the collective here on Earth, or from further afield in the unseen realms. If we're not clear about what our vibration is, it's hard to discern, and it can make things all a bit fuzzy. Also, that level of self-love that we're being urged to step into, that sense of valuing ourselves, understanding ourselves, accepting ourselves, really claiming the power of our sovereignty, is required now, so that we can function in that new way of being. And I feel that's what this eclipse season is about. It's about creating a stronger awareness of our own value and how we see ourselves. And that word seeing is important because it's about linking the head to the heart, and how we are being upgraded with that lens of the way that we view ourselves, the way that we view the world around us, the way that we view others. And hopefully we are able to embrace more love for the self and stand ourselves more clearly, to stand more often in a place of love, so that we can view others in a place of compassion. Because we're all on this journey together, folks, aren't we? We really, really, really are. And, we're all working through shadows at this time. We're being challenged to, with all of these high vibrations that come in, every one of them shakes up something else. All those patterns that we thought we'd maybe dealt with before are coming around in that spiral, and they're taking us deeper and deeper to really get to the core of it, because those new vibrations and that new place of conscious awareness that we're all striving to be in this new place of a new paradigm really demands of us that we've let go of so many layers of our self-criticism and self-judgment, and so that we can be loving to ourselves and we can be loving to everybody else. Because there's going to come a time when that unity consciousness is going to come clearly into focus, and we're building those foundations now. We're peeling away those layers and elevating our own sense of self-love and our own level of compassion for the self and others, so that we're coming closer and closer and closer to that point where we all feel it. We all feel it, not just some of us, but as those of us that are on that journey, like myself and many of you that are connected to me, I'm sure we're all consciously working towards that. But, very few people on the planet, if any, have reached that state of really enlightenment where they have let go of all those layers within themselves, so that they can be truly in that place of unity consciousness. So I'm feeling that's our work for this eclipse season, my lovely ones, is to assess our value of self, to let go of yet more layers of fear, to let go of yet more layers of self-criticism and judgment, and all those programming vibrations that have been notched in us through our family structures and social structures of where we live and all of that sort of thing. So there's a lot to be done, on a very personal level. And I know that that can seem really overwhelming to many people. It really can. And so we need to dig into that level of compassion now when we're able to, because we have to know that everybody around us is going through some weird times and going through some weird stuff as they bump into those triggers that maybe open that doorway so that they can clear things. Yeah. It's very easy to disappear off into the other realms at the moment. Those vibrations are very available, and there's a lot of really strong support coming to us, and it's valuable to tap in and receive that. But they also always remind me that we're bringing a new level of consciousness to Earth. We need to embody it. We need to take the time to actually let it integrate within us and understand what it means for us on a day by day, moment by moment thing. So I hope that you can allow a little time in your structures of your day to just be present with that and notice how that restructuring is going on, because it's going to amp up to that full moon. And that is really the theme for me, is the restructuring, how we're going to see those patterns of restructuring within us this year and what that means for us. And then the high elven beings from the Pleiades, and then the higher dimensional beings from the Pleiades from Alcyon on the 21st. I'm sure we'll add some more layers to that until we get up to the other transitions that I spoke of earlier, about us receiving those vibrations from the Pleiades later in the year too. So there's so much for us to focus on. There's so much for us to do on a very deep and personal level at the moment. Be kind to yourselves, my lovely ones. Be kind. I know I've talked a lot without stopping, but I just needed to let that flow. So let me see who's here. Oh, thank you, my darling. So we've got a message here from Celia that says, this is so supportive and encouraging, and it helps to explain why the vibrations I sense have been so intense. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm really glad that that has helped you a lot. I think it really does help when we share, which is why I wanted to hop online. I mean, my brain was just going mad trying to work out the best way to try to share this with you all. Marie says, thank you for the information. Oh, thank you, darling. I'm glad it's helped you. Thank you. I'm glad that it's helped. Karen's here. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for joining me and thanks for your comment. Helen's here as well. Hi, Helen. Thank you for your message as well. Thank you very much, my darling. Appreciate your blessings. They're always received with love. Excellent. I know that there will be more people that watch this after than actually are here with me, because it was not, I only really decided to do this afternoon, so I've not given anybody much time to join me online. But anyway, I know that more people will watch later, and I will give a wave to all those folks as well. All right, my darlings, I'm going to leave you with those pearls of wisdom, and also an invitation that if any of you are feeling called to join me, that you will find all of the information for those events will be on the website. So the website is cosmicclassroom.co.uk in the events tab. And I hope that you will be able to join me for one or all, or however much you can feel that you want to engage in a conscious way with those energies being received this springtime. All right, my darlings. So thank you for being here. And I send you lots and lots of love as always. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now, my darlings. Bye for now.